The little couple star Zoe Klein has reportedly married her secret boyfriend. His name is Zach. Zoe's parents and brother are very happy about it. I will explain everything. Zoe Klein, the daughter of Jen Arnold and Bill Klein from the TLC show The Little Couple, has captured the hearts of many viewers. People admire her resilience, her humor, and her bright personality. Over the years, fans have celebrated her milestones, cheered for her victories, and respected her strong spirit. Now, there is a beautiful new chapter in her life. It is a chapter that remained private for a long time. This is the story of Zoe Klein's secret love, her journey toward marriage, and the happiness it brought to her family. This is the story of Zoe and Zach. Before talking about their love story, it is important to understand Zoe's background. Zoe Klein was born with a rare type of skeletal dysplasia called spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia. Her life journey has been documented along with her parents and her brother, Will Klein. Together they have faced many medical challenges, surgeries, and therapy sessions. They also had to navigate a world that is not always designed for people with her condition. Through everything, Zoe showed courage and determination. She grew up in the public eye, but she always showed intelligence, humor, and confidence. Zoe is known for being outspoken, thoughtful, and strong. Even though she is small in stature, she has a powerful personality and a quiet inner strength. As she entered her teenage years, her life became more private. Her parents wanted both Zoe and Will to have a normal adolescence away from constant cameras. While fans sometimes saw family trips and celebrations, the personal details of their lives, especially Zoe's journey into young adulthood and relationships, were kept private. This is where the secret part of the story begins. A few years ago in Houston, where the family lives, Zoe was going through high school and discovering new interests. She always loved animals and learning new things. During this time, she was also growing more confident and independent. Their first meeting was not at a big celebrity event. It was something simple and ordinary. According to people close to the family, Zoe met a young man named Zach. The exact place where they met has not been publicly shared. Some believe it may have been through mutual friends at a small gathering. Others think they might have met while volunteering at an animal shelter, something that would fit Zoe's love for animals. It is also possible they simply kept seeing each other at a local bookstore Zoe enjoyed visiting. The exact details remain private. What matters most is that Zach quietly captured Zoe's heart. People who know him describe Zach as intelligent, kind, and very grounded. He also has a dry sense of humor that matches Zoe's quick wit. Zach is not from the reality television world. He lives a normal life, and according to insiders, that is exactly what Zoe wanted. Most importantly, Zach saw Zoe for who she truly is. He did not see her as a TV personality or define her by her condition. He saw her intelligence, her compassion, her strong opinions, and her dreams. He connected with her as a person. They shared many interests. They enjoyed learning, talking about science or literature, watching movies, and listening to music. Their relationship grew slowly and naturally. It was not based on fame or attention. It was built on friendship, trust, and respect. Over time, their friendship turned into a deep romantic connection. Zoe decided to keep the relationship private at first. After growing up on television, she wanted this part of her life to remain personal. She felt the relationship was too important to expose to public attention too quickly. She wanted it to grow naturally without media speculation or pressure. However, she did share the news with her parents early in the relationship. Jen Arnold and Bill Klein are known from television, but above all they are devoted parents. Their journey to becoming parents included many emotional challenges before they adopted Zoe and later adopted Will. Their children are the center of their lives. When Zoe sat down with them and talked about Zach, she was a little nervous. She explained who he was, what he was like, and how happy he made her feel. Her parents listened carefully. They asked thoughtful questions because they wanted to understand him better. Their main concern was Zoe's happiness and safety. Soon after, Zoe arranged for Zach to meet them. It was not a big event. It was likely a simple meal at home, maybe a casual dinner on the patio. At first, the atmosphere was a little tense, which is normal when meeting a girlfriend's parents. Zach knew about Zoe's background and understood how protective her parents were. But the tension did not last long. Zach's genuine personality quickly became clear. He was polite, respectful, and honest. He spoke comfortably with Zoe's parents and showed interest in their work and their lives. He did not avoid discussing Zoe's medical history or the challenges she had faced, but he also did not define her by those things. Instead, he talked about her dreams, her ideas, and her future. Jen saw a young man who seemed kind and responsible. Bill noticed how sincerely Zach cared for Zoe and appreciated his down-to-earth personality. Most importantly, they saw how happy their daughter looked when she was with him. Over time, they quietly gave their approval of the relationship. There was also one more important person in Zoe's life, her brother, Will Klein. Zoe and Will share a very strong bond. They grew up together through family adventures, medical experiences, and the unusual situation of being raised on television. Introducing a boyfriend into that close sibling relationship could have been difficult, but Zoe handled it naturally. She did not force them to spend time together. Instead, she allowed Will and Zach to get to know each other in their own way. Eventually, they discovered common interests. They might have played video games together, talked about sports, or simply shared jokes. Zach never tried to replace Will or interfere with their sibling bond. Instead, he respected it and slowly became part of the family dynamic. Over time, the connection between them grew comfortable and friendlied. He became Zoe's boyfriend and also Will's friend. Seeing his sister truly happy meant a lot to Will. Having Zach around as a friend also made him happy. It was a simple feeling, but it meant a lot coming from a protective brother. So, the foundation of the relationship was strong. The secret stayed safely inside the loving circle of the Klein-Arnold family. Zoe and Zach continued their relationship away from public attention. Their bond slowly grew stronger. Like any young couple, they faced normal challenges. There were school pressures, plans for the future, and occasional disagreements. But their relationship was built on respect, shared values, and strong support from Zoe's family. As time passed, their relationship became more serious. Eventually, the idea of spending their lives together naturally came up. Zach was deeply in love with Zoe and felt sure that she was the person he wanted to marry. Zach knew Zoe very well. He knew she preferred meaningful and intimate moments rather than big public gestures. She loved family, thoughtful actions, and personal memories. Because of this, he knew a flashy public proposal or something filmed for television would not be right for her. Instead, he planned something private and meaningful. The proposal took place in a beautiful garden at the family home. The garden was decorated with soft fairy lights as the evening began. It was a place Zoe loved, a place where she felt comfortable and safe. Jen Arnold and Bill Klein were quietly nearby, staying out of sight but ready to witness the moment. Zoe's brother, Will Klein, was also close by, excited and waiting. Zach asked Zoe to come outside with him. It may have been for a simple walk or to see flowers that had just bloomed in the garden. The evening air was calm, and the lights made the garden feel magical. They stopped in a special spot. Zach looked into Zoe's eyes and began speaking from his heart. He told her how much she had changed his life. He spoke about how her strength inspired him and how her laughter was his favorite sound. He talked about her intelligence, her kindness, and the dreams they shared. He spoke about the quiet moments they spent together and the life he hoped they would build. Then Zach got down on one knee. It was not done out of pity, but as a traditional sign of love and commitment. He opened a small box with a beautiful and elegant ring. The ring had been chosen carefully, possibly with quiet advice from Jen to make sure it was perfect. Then he asked the question, "Zoe Klein, will you make me the happiest man alive? Will you marry me?" Tears filled Zoe's eyes. They were tears of happiness and emotion. Her answer came quickly and full of joy. She said yes. They hugged each other, sharing a moment filled with love and happiness. Soon after, Jen, Bill, and Will came forward. They were smiling, emotional, and full of joy. The whole family surrounded the couple in a big hug. The engagement was celebrated quietly, filled with love and family support. Only close family members and a very small group of trusted friends knew about the engagement. Zoe and Zach wanted to keep it private while they planned their wedding. From the beginning, they agreed on one thing. The wedding would be small and personal. They did not want television cameras, media attention, or large crowds. They wanted to celebrate their love with only the people closest to them. Choosing the location for the wedding was important. It had to be beautiful, private, and comfortable for Zoe. It also needed to have personal meaning. It could have been a small chapel, a peaceful ranch owned by a family friend, or a private botanical garden reserved just for the event. The exact place was kept private, but it was chosen because it felt special and meaningful to them. Zoe began planning the details with excitement. With her natural sense of grace and possibly some guidance from her mother, Jen, she created a vision for the wedding. The style was elegant but simple. The colors were soft and romantic, such as blush, ivory, and sage green. The flowers were beautiful and fragrant, including roses and eucalyptus, but nothing too flashy. Candlelight and soft decorations created a warm atmosphere. Then there was the wedding dress. The dress was chosen with great care. It was beautiful and made Zoe feel confident and radiant. It likely had delicate lace and a graceful design that suited her perfectly. The dress balanced timeless elegance with comfort so she could move easily, whether walking, using her chair, or dancing with Zach. Zach was also involved in the planning. He shared ideas about the music, the food, and the atmosphere. This was not just Zoe's special day. It was their day together. They made decisions as a team and focused on creating a warm and personal celebration. The guest list was very small. Of course, Zoe's parents, Jen and Bill, and her brother were there. Perhaps grandparents or very close relatives also attended. Zoe invited a few close friends who had supported her for many years. Zach invited a small number of his closest friends and family members. In total, there were probably only 20 to 30 guests. Every person there truly knew and cared about Zoe and Zach as individuals. To keep the event private, security and confidentiality were likely used to make sure their special day stayed personal. During the planning process, Jen and Bill were very happy. Jen enjoyed helping her daughter organize the celebration while still letting Zoe make the main decisions. Bill was emotional, especially thinking about walking his daughter down the aisle. Will was also excited about his role as the bride's brother. The whole household felt joyful and full of anticipation as they helped protect the couple's dream wedding. Finally, the wedding day arrived. The weather was perfect, almost as if everything was meant to be. At the private venue, preparations began quietly. Flowers were arranged carefully. Soft lights and candles were placed around the ceremony area. Chairs were set up for the small group of guests. The atmosphere was not about fame or television. It was about love, family, and happiness. In a private room, Zoe prepared for the ceremony. She was surrounded by the women closest to her. Her mother, Jen, may have been there along with a close aunt or her best friend. The room was filled with laughter, happy tears, and excitement. Her makeup was done softly to highlight her natural beauty. Her hair was styled in an elegant way. Then it was time for the dress. When Zoe stepped into the dress, the room likely became quiet for a moment. She looked beautiful. The little girl who had overcome so many challenges had grown into a confident and glowing bride. She stood there smiling, filled with happiness. Jen could not hold back her tears of pride and joy. At the same time, Zach was getting ready in another room. Dressed in a sharp suit, he looked handsome and excited. He was likely with Bill, Will, and one of his closest friends as they prepared for the ceremony. Zach stood quietly for a moment, adjusting his suit jacket while trying to calm the excitement in his chest. This was the day he had been dreaming about. Beside him were Bill Klein and Will Klein, both sharing the moment with him. Bill looked proud but emotional. From time to time, he wiped his eyes and smiled, clearly overwhelmed with happiness for his daughter. Will tried to lighten the mood with a few jokes, but even he could not hide how meaningful the moment was. Zach thanked Bill sincerely for trusting him and welcoming him into the family. Bill responded warmly, telling him that the only thing he ever wanted was to see his daughter loved and respected. In that quiet conversation, the bond between them became even stronger. Guests slowly began to arrive at the ceremony area. It was a small gathering, filled only with the closest people in Zoe and Zach's lives. Everyone spoke softly, smiling and greeting each other. The atmosphere felt peaceful and warm. Soft music began to play in the background. The flowers around the ceremony space filled the air with a gentle fragrance. Candles flickered softly, creating a calm and romantic setting. Zach took his place at the front, standing near the officiant. He looked nervous but happy, occasionally glancing down the aisle, waiting for the moment he would see Zoe. Inside the preparation room, Zoe was taking a few deep breaths. Her mother, Jen Arnold, gently held her hands and smiled at her. Jen reminded her that this day was simply about love and about beginning a new chapter of life. Will soon came to the door to let them know it was almost time. The music shifted slightly, signaling that the ceremony would begin. Guests quietly took their seats. The ceremony started simply. A few close family members walked down the aisle first. Then it was time for the bride. Zoe appeared at the entrance with her father, Bill, standing proudly beside her. When the guests saw her, many of them became emotional. She looked radiant in her dress, smiling softly as she began walking forward. Bill walked slowly and carefully with his daughter, making sure she felt comfortable and confident with every step. For Bill, this moment carried deep meaning. He remembered the day Zoe first joined their family and all the years that followed. Now he was walking her toward a new life. At the front, Zach looked at Zoe with admiration. His eyes filled with emotion as he watched her approach. The moment felt almost unreal to him. When they reached the front, Bill gently placed Zoe's hand into Zach's hand. He gave them both a warm smile before taking his seat. The ceremony itself was heartfelt and personal. The officiant spoke about love, partnership, and the strength that comes from supporting one another through life's challenges. He spoke about how every couple builds their own story. Zoe and Zach's story had begun quietly, but had grown into something strong and meaningful. During the vows, Zach spoke first. His voice was steady but emotional. He told Zoe how grateful he was for her love and how much she had inspired him. He promised to support her dreams, stand beside her during difficult times, and celebrate every moment of happiness with her. He said her courage and kindness had changed his life forever. When Zoe spoke, there were tears in her eyes, but also a bright smile. She thanked Zach for loving her exactly as she is. She said he made her feel understood, respected, and safe. She promised to be his partner in every part of life, to laugh with him, grow with him, and face the future together. Their vows were simple but deeply sincere. After the vows, they exchanged rings. The small circle of metal symbolized an unending bond. Zach carefully placed the ring on Zoe's finger, and Zoe did the same for him. The officiant then smiled and spoke the words everyone was waiting for. With joy, he announced that Zoe and Zach were now husband and wife. The guests broke into warm applause and happy cheers. Zach gently kissed Zoe, and the two of them smiled brightly, filled with relief and excitement. As they turned to face their friends and family, the love surrounding them was clear. After the ceremony, everyone moved to a small reception area nearby. The decorations continued the same soft and elegant style. Flowers, candles, and warm lighting created a relaxed atmosphere. The celebration felt more like a family gathering than a formal event. People laughed, shared stories, and congratulated the couple. Bill later gave a short speech. He spoke about the day Zoe joined their family and how proud he had been to watch her grow. He thanked Zach for loving his daughter and promised that Zach would always be part of the family. His words brought both laughter and tears from the guests. Will also shared a few funny memories about growing up with Zoe. He joked about their childhood adventures and the many times they had supported each other through difficult moments. But he ended by saying how happy he was to see his sister so deeply loved. Jen spoke briefly as well. As a mother, she said there is nothing more meaningful than watching your child find someone who truly values them. She welcomed Zach warmly and said she believed their future would be full of happiness. After the speeches, dinner was served. The food was simple but carefully chosen. Guests enjoyed the meal while talking and celebrating. Later, Zoe and Zach shared their first dance as a married couple. The music played softly as they moved together slowly. The moment felt intimate and peaceful with everyone watching quietly. Soon other guests joined the dance floor. Laughter and music filled the evening. The celebration continued with small moments of joy, friends taking photos, family members hugging the couple, and quiet conversations under the warm glow of lights. For Zoe and Zach, the day was exactly what they had hoped for. It was not about fame or attention. It was about love, family, and the beginning of a new life together. As the night came to an end, Zoe and Zach stepped outside for a quiet moment together. The air was calm, and the lights from the celebration glowed softly behind them. They looked at each other and smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning of their journey. Surrounded by family and supported by love, they were ready to face the future together. Their story, once a quiet secret, had now